Well, thank you very much for joining us here on News Desk. We can start with the very first story and the biggest one for the day. And the NPP is yet again expected to suspend one more party member. And this person, we're told, is a high-profile person in the party and a one-time flag bearer hopeful of the party. We'll bring you much more on that pretty shortly. But let's take you back to yesterday and bring you some excerpts of what happened yesterday at that particular press conference addressed by the party's Director of Communications, Nana Akomia.
The petitioners in the case of Mr. Agyapong were Mr. Christopher Arthur, Fred Adai, Amadou Kalim, Idrisu Musa, Owusu Ansa, and KT Hammond. The National Executive Committee meeting acknowledged and commended Mr. Agyapong for his full cooperation and attendance at the disciplinary committee hearings. At the end of the deliberations, the National Executive Committee decided by unanimous decision of all members present to suspend Mr. Kwabena Agyapong indefinitely from the position of NPP General Secretary. The gravamen of the petitions against Mr. Agyapong included violation of Article 3D of the NPP Constitution, which enjoins members to publicly uphold the decisions of the party. He did this through various acts, including his disregard for the NEC decision on 23rd October 2015, suspending Mr. Paul Afoko. Second, various public statements he made that cast the party in bad light. He also engaged in unilateral actions and activities without consultation or authorization of the NEC, such as writing to the Electoral Commission designating only himself and suspended Chairman Afoko as the only authorized signatures of the NPP, granting waivers to parliamentary aspirants without proper authority, non-reference of legal matters to the proper legal committee of the party, his interference with constituency primaries against, in some instances, decisions of the National Appeals Committee and also court decisions, making misrepresentation and misleading, in some instances, of NEC on the status of some constituency primaries. Also, he, in conjunction with suspended Chairman Paul Afoko and Sammy Crabbe, launched party cards, party membership cards, and financial campaigns without authorization from the NEC. The meeting also considered the report of the disciplinary committee on petitions received against Mr. Sammy Crabbe, the second national vice chairman. The meeting, by unanimous decision, upheld the recommendation of the disciplinary committee to suspend Mr. Sammy Crabbe indefinitely from the position of NPP second national vice chairman. The petitioners against Mr. Crabbe were Mr. Boylaye and Madam Gladys Mandede, both former Greater Accra regional executives of the party. The gravamen of the petition against Mr. Sammy Crabbe involved his violation of Article 3D of the NPP Constitution on the duties of a member. Mr. Sammy Crabbe, on several occasions, publicly went against the NEC decision on 23rd October 2015, suspending Mr. Paul Afoko. He also, in conjunction with Mr. Afoko and Kwabena Agyapong, launched party membership cards and fundraising activities without authorization from NEC.
So barely 24 hours after the suspension of its General Secretary and Second Vice Chairman, Joy News can exclusively report that disciplinary process seeking the suspension of yet another party member and one-time flag bearer hopeful has begun. Well, after that announcement, you heard the brief while ago, my colleague Kwabena Ferniama caught up with Nana Akomia and asked what this decision means for the party and how the party intends moving on after this.
I was an ardent supporter of Afoko, so this or pro that doesn't work. At the end of the day, there was stated misbehavior, and in the case of Kwabena, he went and defended himself. Obviously, the disciplinary committee was not satisfied with his responses. In the case of Crabbe, he didn't even attend upon the disciplinary committee. There have been specific charges that the NEC meeting on Afoko, he went out. I'm sure he came to your station too. Now, the duties of the NPP member, you have to publicly uphold the decisions of the party. Clearly, by coming to your station and other stations and rallying against that decision, it was inciting disobedience to the decision. And it was on that basis that the petition came. The petition did not come on the basis of pro this or pro that.
But tell me, we understand at a point, Mrs. Kwabena Agyapong himself, and you made a point that he showed good faith. Does it mean that Mr. Sammy Crabbe's refusal to appear before the disciplinary committee, which you say was disrespectful, mainly accounted for his faith?
Well, the report of the disciplinary committee, they took strong exception to that. You know, if perhaps he had gone there and shown respect by attending to them, it may have influenced their decision. I don't know. I'm not a member of the disciplinary committee. But really, if charges have been brought against you, whether in a court of law or in an organization like that, you don't go and defend yourself, then the people have no option but to uphold what the complainant is looking for. If there's a case against you in court and you don't go and defend yourself, the court will give judgment against you, and the plaintiff may get all that they want.
Does the removal of these three officers, not the removal, in fact, the suspension of these three officers now give the NPP a brighter chance in 2016, you think?
Well, obviously, that's what the party believes. The party believes that at this point, it is better off with this action. I mean, you can imagine that the party taking this action will consider every option and do what is in the best interest.
Including the enhancing your chances in 2016.
Obviously, the party believes so. If the party didn't believe so, I don't think it would take these actions.
I've heard some say that, and in fact, Mr. Sammy predicted it, that after his comments about the next decision on Paul Afoko, the party raised an army, as he put it, of some guns to petition against him. Kwabena Agyapong had accounts petitioning against him, and that seems to be the trend. That's the strategy.
Well, in the first place, what you are saying is that the people who petitioned don't have a mind of their own, and that will be an insult to the petitioners. You saw the petition against Mr. Afoko. The people who did the petition, I mean, they are standing in the party. I am not a founding member. Those people are founding members, you know. So these are not people who can be manipulated by anybody. The members of the disciplinary committee, most Reverend Asante Entry, you think it's somebody who can be manipulated or teleguided by somebody? Adokufo, Amabuzia, Aikweotu. These are not people who can be manipulated by anybody. The NEC, the National Executive Committee itself, about 50 people. You think they can be manipulated by anybody? So that hasn't got any grounding at all. At the end of the day, specific charges were brought to take Kwabena Agyapong. There are specific charges against him. He actually showed respect and attended upon the disciplinary committee, and the NEC acknowledged that and commended him. But the meeting also decided that the weight of the issues against him was such that they had to suspend it. In fact, they varied the recommendation of the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee had recommended 15-month suspension. The NEC decided to vary it and make it indefinite. Well, indefinite means that you can be called back next week. But if it's a definite period, then it's cast in stone. So we decided that let's be flexible. And so based on whatever, it's a dynamic situation, you know. So indefinite means that it's easier to change the decision.
So that was Communications Director of the Opposition NPP, Nana Akomia, in an interview with my colleague Kwache Afre Nyama. Like I said, we can confirm that another leading member of the party and one-time flag bearer hopeful of the NPP, I'm speaking of Dr. Arthur Kennedy, is also likely to be suspended by the party in the coming days. Joining me via Skype from the United States of America now is Dr. Kwabena Arthur Kennedy, who joins us live now. So Arthur Kennedy, if you can hear me now, good. Okay, well, we seem to have a bit of a challenge with the feed there, but right. Doc, I hope you can see and hear me now. So good morning. Thank you very much for joining us here on News Desk.
I can't see you, but I can hear you very clearly.
Great,
good morning
great.
to your listeners.
Sure. Thank you very much for joining us. Now, what are your thoughts on how things have played out so far in your party, the NPP?
I can't hear you well now. Hello?
Yes, I was asking what your general thoughts are on how things have played out so far in your party over the past few months or so.
Disappointment, shock, and sadness.
Care to elaborate?
Yes, I can. I am disappointed because I've heard a bit of what my friend Nana Kumia said. If anybody had told me 2 years ago that the MPP would ever come to this, I would have disbelieved it. I think that we have done significant damage to our chances. We have done significant damage to our principles, and we have shown lack of loyalty to the interests of Mother Ghana. The NDC is floundering, and they are looking to the MPP to save them. And these actions, from the suspension of Afoku to Kwabena, Agyapong to Crabbe, to all the various chairpersons who have been suspended in the middle, show that we...
Okay. So there seems to be a break there, and we will try and rectify that pretty shortly and speak to Dr. Kwabena Arthur Kennedy. But let's now speak to Deputy General Secretary of the Opposition NPP. I'm speaking of Nana Obribwai, who also joins us live now over the telephone right here in Ghana. Nana, good morning. Many thanks for your time here on News Desk.
Yeah, good morning, my brother. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Now, Nana, one would say, I mean, the way and manner in which the party has handled some of these things leaves much to be desired. Is that an assertion you agree with?
Incredible. That is not a fair assessment. You know, the party goes around certain ideals and views. The party has its own constitution. And the constitution is encapsulated the do's and then the don'ts. The party, a complaint has been lodged to the disciplinary committee. The disciplinary committee has gone into the matter in a proper judicial manner. The disciplinary committee has made recommendations to the NEC. The constitution of the party says the NEC can vary the decision of the disciplinary committee. The NEC has taken certain decisions, and that is the end of the matter. If you are aggrieved and dissatisfied, the constitution of the party says you can appeal to the National Council.
Now, most of these decisions taken by the party over the past few weeks or months, some would say, well, particularly from some of these persons who have been suspended, they accuse the party of perpetrating an illegality. For instance, not constitutionally. I mean, yes, essentially, they accuse the party of not doing the right thing here.
I hold a contrary view. I hold a contrary view.
You having a National Executive Committee meeting
he who assesses must prove it. You think that the actions or the inactions taken by the NEC and the National Council are unconstitutional. You know the proper forum to go for redress. We didn't know to be quarreling over some of these things. It's a political party, a group of people who have come together so that they can have the political leadership of the country. There's a party's constitution. Those who contested for various positions in the party, they did so based on the relevant provisions in the constitution. You cannot just go and pick a form and then contest. You go and pick a form based on the fact that you are a member of the party, and that is beautifully enshrined in the party's constitution.
Okay.
The party organized a congress. Yes, we took part and voted as a delegate because you are a recognized member of the party, recognized by the constitution of the party. That was why you voted for, or you stood on the ticket of a certain position, and then you were voted for. The party constitution talks of disciplinary measures. So if you, with due respect, perhaps if you misconduct yourself or somebody is not happy with a decision or a step taken, the proper forum is to petition the discipline committee. You appear before the discipline committee in a proper judicial manner. The disciplinary committee will submit their recommendations to the NEC. The NEC will look at, they have the right to vary. I mean, these are all provisions in the party's constitution. You cannot sidestep the party's constitution. That is it. I mean, we need not to be sentimental about issues. We need not to be prejudicial about issues. We must be very forthright, honest, and sincere, and then use the party's constitution as a screen and project these developments onto that screen. Anything short of that, there's a likelihood that you may err.
Nana, information Joy News has picked up, credible information I might say, suggests that some persons have also petitioned the party to look into the dealings and actions of certain members. Particularly, we are speaking of Dr. Kwabena Kennedy. Some people want him suspended. How true is this?
No, I can say it authoritatively that a petition has been forwarded to the National Disciplinary Committee of the New Patriotic Party. That petition was signed by 22 members. They've indicated their names, the voter ID card numbers, their phone numbers, and what have you. 22. They have forwarded their petition to the National Discipline Committee. I am not a member of the National Discipline Committee, but at least I'm able to tell you on authority, unreservedly, that there's a petition which has been forwarded to the National Disciplinary Committee against the conduct, the utterances, the publications of Dr. Kwabena Kennedy.
So what really has he done wrong here? If he sees an ill with the party, can he not criticize it?
It will not be fair for me to preempt the outcome of a petition by a group of members or individuals in the NPP that petitioned the National Discipline Committee.
Okay.
The matter is before the National Discipline Committee. It will be prejudicial, it will be scandalous for me to run commentary on that.
Okay.
I think that I can just tell you authoritatively that there is a petition.
Sure.
Anything short of that, but we cannot go into details. Of the
I don't understand that.
Even I won't go to the extent of mentioning the names
of the persons who. Okay, exactly.
Let alone considering the substantive issues they have raised in their petition.
No problem. No, but kindly hold on for me briefly while I try and bring in Dr. Kwabena Kennedy, who joins us once again via Skype. We are told the feed is better now, so we can speak to him. Dr. Kennedy is in the USA. He joins us now via Skype to help us understand a few of these things. So, Doc, already you were telling me you were quite disappointed with how things have gone on so far in the party. Now, we are just hearing that, well, you might also be suspended in the next few days.
Well, what else is new? This is a continual violation of due process because I haven't even been informed. And as far as I know, such petitions should go through the National Executive before it is referred to the Disciplinary Committee. But it goes to confirm the point I was making. This is the party of Dankwa and Buzia. It was Dankwa who argued in the Supreme Court in the case of Ri Akoto about the importance of due process in our country. And his party is violating the same due process. It is a strange coincidence that Afoko, Crabbe, and Agyapong were targeted for defeat at Tamale, and since then nobody has let them know a day of peace. This is a backdoor impeachment. This is not a suspension. It is because the bar for impeachment was found to be too high. So those who wanted impeachment are suspending them, which is a backdoor impeachment. They couldn't get the 40% of signatures they needed. They knew they wouldn't get 70%, and that is what they are doing. It is wrong. It is wrong.
Dr. Kennedy, well, according to the petition, we are told that some of your utterances and some of your writings do not really inure to the benefit of the NPP in any way. Some would say, why are you so hard on your own party?
Well, that question itself, does your reputation service, my brother? You are a very respected journalist. You can put side by side all the things I have written on behalf of the NPP, attacking President Mahama, for example, when he talked about those who want a northern president should vote for him, when he attacked Ashantis, when he went to Davos in Switzerland. I've attacked him for conflict of interest. I've attacked Esiedun Ketia for setting up a Heroes Fund. I think about 80% of the things I write are actually advocacy on behalf of the NPP. But I am not a sycophant. I also point out when we are making mistakes. And indeed, when you go back, most of the things I have warned against in the last year are playing out right in front of us. For instance, I was one of the staunchest opponents of all die be die. I said it was wrong. I said it will cost us defeat. And after 4 years, the flag bearer agreed with me. Would that be something for which one could sanction me because I was not speaking in the interest of the party? Sycophancy is not the same as loyalty. I think we are confusing the two.
So you believe these persons who are championing this cause for your suspension are rather sycophants? You are the loyal one.
Well, I have not seen the details, but it is strange because in the last few weeks, some people have even questioned my membership in the U.S. branch, followed by Abra Asebu Kwamankese, followed by Haruna Esiku, and now this. And I argue that it is strange that the NPP membership card does not have the expiration. And when we join the NPP, we pledge our loyalty. We do not pledge that we have abandoned our judgment. As a grown-up, I can say when somebody is doing something that is wrong. And I have no hesitation in asserting that the processes that have been followed here have been improper, they have been unconstitutional, they have dishonored Ghana, and I am charging our leadership that they are indulging in a very selfish exercise when the people of Ghana want us to unite and save our nation. We are doing the same thing we did in 1979. We are being selfish, we are being petty, and we are harming Ghana.
Dr. Kennedy, you did mention earlier that these three persons that have been suspended, I'm speaking of Kwabena Agyapong, Sammy Crabbe, and Mr. Paul Afoko, they have been targets all this while. Since they won the elections, they have been targets. Yourself included, one would say you've also been some sort of a target. Now, could it be the case that anyone who comes up against the flag bearer or anyone who holds dissenting views is usually seen as someone who doesn't really have the interest of the NPP at heart, so must be sidelined? Is that the case? At least we've heard
Absolutely.
it from Sammy Crabbe. Do you agree with that?
I agree 110%. And I also think that they make the mistake of thinking that the flag bearer is infallible. With all respect, I don't even think the Pope is infallible. We know of clear examples when the flag bearer erred. For example, all die be die. He kept repeating it for 4 years. And there are a lot of other things, apart from even breaches of procedure. I think the disciplinary committee and the party structures have been hijacked by a cabal because other people have committed more egregious offenses that the party, alive to its responsibilities, will have done something with. And I can give you some examples. For example, Honorable Kennedy Agyapong called a former president, Nkojo Mpianim, the murderers of Adam Mahama without any evidence. That is the image of the party. Bugrin, the suspended chairman and general secretary, agents of the NDC who were in the pay of the NDC. That did not inure to the good image of the party. Kennedy Agyapong talked about chasing Evers and guns. Honorable Osafo Mafo talked about people from certain ethnic groups not being qualified to hold high office. I submit respectfully that these are more egregious offenses, of course, taking into account the fact of people forming secret accounts. If these things have not been dealt with, I find it very difficult to see how most of these other things can be considered disciplinary problems.
Kennedy, I'll let you hold briefly for me while I try and get some reactions from your party's Deputy General Secretary, Nana Obiri-Boyne, who is also with us via phone. Nana, I'm sure you've heard all the things being said by Dr. Arthur Kennedy. I'd like to first and foremost find out. Well, you seem to be hijacking the party and treating the party as your own property.
I mean, it's the same old song has been rehashing and rehashing. Bringing in Kennedy, Agyapong or Sammy. It is the same old song. He has been rehashing.
But does he not have a point there? We've had political analysts and the like.
Listen, I see no basis at all for us to plunge into any discussion as far as these issues are concerned. This is a political party. There are rules and regulations governing the party, as running of the party. Nobody has been forced to join this party. If Dr. Kennedy says that all of us are sycophants, and of course he is the outstanding and vocal and somebody who thinks much of the party, and all of us are sycophants. The right thing to do, what do you do? A reasonable man would just leave the party and form his own party or join another party.
So you want Arthur Kennedy to resign from the party?
No, that is the option available for a reasonable man. When a reasonable man is not prepared to move along with sycophants and irresponsible characters.
He probably does have, it could just be the case, he has the interest of the party and the entire nation at heart. So if it means staying in and getting the right things done.
Are you suggesting that the members of the National Executive Committee who met yesterday, they don't have the welfare of the party at heart? Are you suggesting that members of the disciplinary committee, let me even mention their names, Reverend Asante, Madam Amabuzia, Dr. Kwame Adokofo, Professor Michael Kwe, Lawyer Yukwe Utu, Gifty Kusi, Alaji Raman. Are you suggesting for a moment that these individuals who are members of discipline committee, they don't think well of the party?
If their objectivity is being questioned...
Are you suggesting that members of the NEC, yesterday the flag bearer was around, the minority leader, the deputy minority leader, if I can borrow Arthur Kennedy's words, they are not infallible. We are all human beings. We are fallible. People make mistakes. So also Arthur Kennedy also is so infallible. So the impression should not be created that at least as far as all of us are concerned, he can give us. I overheard him talking about Ray Akuto. He should go back and read Ray Akuto again. He should go back and read Ray Akuto from page to page, sentiments and comments by the judges. Please, I don't think that it will serve any purpose for my good self and for my party to plunge into this unnecessary interaction. Unnecessary in the sense that consistently he has been writing, consistently he has been attacking the party, consistently he has been writing to expose the party to public ridicule and contempt.
To expose the party,
saying that within that given situation, every reasonable man, somebody who thinks that at least he is he has the welfare of the party at heart. And therefore, we, the sycophants, are not prepared to throw his life. The reasonable thing to do within that reasonable circumstances is to do what? Perhaps to say bye-bye and leave the party. I don't think I should be wasting my time on this.
So your advice to Dr. Arthur Kennedy now is...
Advice. I'm saying that every reasonable man's analysis, the reasonable man's point of view, a reasonable man, the right thing to do. But I'm in a bad company, I'm in a bad group, and therefore I'm going away. And even that is, as we are talking now, he's a full-fledged card-bearing member of the party. I have my reservations. I don't think I should be wasting my time on some of these things.
Right.
We have proper things to do.
Nana,
many thanks. Organizing ourselves for our men's.
Sure. Many thanks for your time.
For us to be doing, rather than to be just exchanging words with Dr. Kennedy.
Right. Many thanks for your time on Newsdesk, Nana Obiri-Boyne. We will touch base with you shortly for some more. But we still have via Skype with us here on Newsdesk, Dr. Kwabena Arthur Kennedy from the USA. Doc, so you are being advised to leave the party if really you are if you seem to have issues with the party, just leave, essentially.
Well, you know, it is sad that Nana Obrebuahin should say something like that. Maybe he's lost sight of the fact that elections are won by numbers. If we keep chasing everybody away, very soon all members of the party will come from Chibi and they can all meet in somebody's house. I am standing on principle. The reason why Richard Nixon talked about the silent majority is that sometimes people are cowed into silence and they cannot do what they know to be right. I am not doubting anybody's wishing the party well, but people can be wrong. And the fact that the majority is seized by loyalty to somebody instead of to their party and they are doing wrong things, does not mean they are right. After all, a majority of Americans supported slavery. They were wrong. You know, a majority of Ghanaians voted for NPC in 2012. They were wrong. So, I'm not a lawyer, but I have read Ray Akoto. I know which side J.B. Dankwa will be on if you were here today. I think it's a strange coincidence that right from before the vote in Tamale, some Nanado was saying to many and the very people he said to many are the people who are being targeted. If President Kufuor could work with McMahon, why can't candidate Akufo-Addo reconcile these people and work with them? I think it's an abdication of leadership. If he cannot unite his party, how can Ghanaians trust that he will unite his country if he was given the presidency? If he is this intolerant of his party members, how can we be guaranteed that he will be tolerant of divergent views if he were president of Ghana? Those are legitimate questions that we should raise.
But clearly, one would say intolerance is not really the best quality of any leader.
Of course it is not, and we are seeing it in full force.
So then, Nana Akufo-Addo can't be our leader as a nation.
I wouldn't say that. People change, you know, for the better and for the worse. I am very disappointed in how he has conducted himself as leader, but 12 months is a long time. He may recover, and before we know it, just like Buhari became a new man, he might be a new man and he can lead us to victory. But as things stand now, respectfully and painfully, I can assert that we are heading for defeat. I know that sycophants like Obrebuahin and other all-die-be-die aficionados who watch him to defeat, and then when he loses, they will help him find scapegoats. We don't need scapegoats. They should look in the mirror. Pogo said, we have seen the enemy and he is us.
Is Nana Akufo-Addo NPP's biggest problem as of now?
Yes, undoubtedly. I think that instead of looking for all the excuses for our defeats in 2008, 2012, we should look at the presidential candidate. We've changed chairman and general secretary a number of times. We've blamed the Electoral Commission. We've blamed the security forces. We blamed Kufuor. We blamed Asante. We blamed the Supreme Court. Maybe the solution is sitting right in front of us in the name of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
Interesting. But as things stand now, the party has been petitioned to look into the possibility of suspending you. Should the party go ahead and look into this and decide that, yes, indeed, you are going to be suspended, what next?
Oh, I'm waiting to hear that. I'll fight that. But you know, though, parties go through phases. There was a time when Kufuor was not popular in the party at all. Then we got to a point where he was the most popular person in the party. And there was a time when Nana Addo thought he wasn't popular. And there is a time now when he's the most popular person in the party. There was even a time when Dr. Bawumia wasn't even a member. And now he's one of the most respected members. Parties are not static organizations. They change for better and for worse. And I think we've hit our nadir, so we will rise again.
Many thanks for your time on News Desk this morning. Dr. Kwabena Arthur Kennedy is a leading member of the New Patriotic Party. He joined us via Skype from the United States of America. And you're still watching News Desk here on Joy News Multi TV. We're taking a break. We'll be back shortly with some more. Don't go away.